welcome everyone. I am so glad you're here today. My name is Yaritza Ortiz. I am a USPTO certified master teacher of invention education, a NASA Hunch regional ambassador, and a K-12 educator with over 30 years in the classroom. This program is delivered through Forward Innovation Incorporated, a nonprofit I helped build to make invention education accessible to teachers at every level, starting with this free module. Today, we're starting Module 1, Introduction to Invention Education. By the end of this session, you will understand what invention education actually is, why it matters to your students, and have 2 activities that you can use as early as tomorrow. Let's get started. Before we talk about what we teach, let me tell you a little bit about who I am and why I care about this work so much. I have spent over 30 years in K-12 education, but the moment that changed everything for me was attending a USPTO conference where I was introduced to the invention education process through a program developed by the USPTO called the National Summer Institute for Teachers. I brought invention education into my classroom immediately. Shortly after, our campus connected us with NASA Hunch. High school students united with NASA to create hardware. I saw right away how powerful the 2 frameworks blended together, invention education thinking inside a real-world NASA design challenge. Because of that combined work, blending invention education with Hunch, the USPTO selected me as one of their master teachers of invention education. They trained us specifically in training others. That is the MTEP designation, Master Teacher of Invention Education. And it is one of the most rewarding and meaningful things I have earned in my career. From that point forward, my mission became clear. Make sure every teacher has access to what I learned, and make sure every student, regardless of where they go to school, has access to the inventor's mindset. I helped build Forward Innovation because I needed a vehicle to bring this work to teachers at scale, and to make sure students who are most often left out of the innovation pipeline finally get a seat at the table. That is why I'm here with you today. So what exactly is invention education? Let me show you. Invention education is a teaching framework that uses the invention process to develop students' creativity, critical thinking, and entrepreneurial mindset. Notice I did not say science class, I did not say engineering class. Invention education can happen in any classroom: English, math, social studies, art. Anywhere students have problems worth solving. The framework has 3 pillars. The first is to invent. Students identify real problems, not made up textbook problems, real problems they experience in their lives, their school, their community. Second, they learn how that can be protected. This is where most programs stop, but not ours. Students learn the basics of intellectual property. They learn that their ideas have value and that there are legal systems designed to protect that value. And the third part is launch. Students pitch their idea, think about who their market is, and build their confidence to present their work to a real audience. Invent, protect, launch. That is the invention education framework, and it works with any and every subject if you're solving problems. You might be wondering if this actually causes change, moves the needle. Well, here are some facts that have been researched. Here are 3 numbers I want you to sit with for a moment. According to the World Economic Forum, 65%. That is the percentage of today's students who will work in jobs that do not yet exist. We are preparing students for a future we cannot fully see. Then 90%. That is the percentage of USPTO patent inventors who had access to invention education programs. The pipeline to innovation runs through the classroom. And yes, this may include some type of informal education, like participating in science fairs or STEM fairs, but that's where it starts. And then this is the one that really gets to me. 1 to 150. That's you. One trained educator can impact 150 students per year. That means you. In this room, in this program. You are a multiplier. Your learning today does not stop with you. And I love this quote. Every child has the capacity to be an inventor. Our job is to create the conditions for that to happen. That is what we are here to do. Now, where does your classroom fit in the bigger picture? Let me show you the ecosystem. One of the most powerful things I can tell you is this. Your students do not just learn to invent in your classroom. They plug into a national ecosystem. NASA Hutch. Students design and build real products for NASA astronauts. Open to grades 9 through 12. I have taken students through this program and watched it change lives. The USPTO and Invention. They are offering national patent education, provisional filing support, and teacher certification. This is where I got certified, and it is where you can bring your students to file real patent applications. The Lemelson Foundation funds programs and competitions specifically for underrepresented young inventors. Grants are available. The Henry Ford Innovation Convention, challenge programs, and one of the best free Educator resource libraries in the country. And Forward Innovation, that is us. We offer Educator certifications, student microgrants, and Innovation Day event right here. When you teach Invention education, you're not teaching a unit, you're opening a door. Let's talk about one piece of this ecosystem that most teachers have never taught: intellectual property. Intellectual property. How many of you have ever taught a unit on IP? Most teachers have not, and it is not your fault. It was never in the curriculum. But here is what I want you to know. IP literacy is one of the most practical, empowering things we can teach a student. A patent protects inventions and processes. And here is a part teachers are always surprised by. Students can file a real provisional patent application through the USPTO's student programs at reduced or no cost. We will show you how to in a later module. A trademark protects brand names, logos, and slogans. When your students name their invention and design a logo, that is trademark territory. Copyright protects creative works like writing, art, music, and code. If your students are writing software or creating designs, copyright is already in play. And a trade secret protects confidential business information. Formulas, methods, processes. Think Coca-Cola's recipe. Think any business that has a proprietary process. When students learn IP, they learn something even more important. Their ideas have value. And the law was designed to protect that value. Now I want to talk about what this looks like in your actual classroom and how is it different from what most of us grew up with. Okay, so most of us were trained in a traditional classroom model. The teacher delivers content, there is one correct answer, students work individually, the curriculum is the end point, and failure means you got it wrong. Invention education flips every one of those assumptions. The teacher becomes a facilitator of discovery, not a deliverer of information. There are multiple valid solutions because real problems rarely have one right answer. Students collaborate in groups because that's how innovation actually happens. Real world problems are the driver, not the textbook. And failure? Failure is an iteration opportunity. It means you learned something your prototype needs. This is not about abandoning rigor. This is about redirecting that rigor towards things that matter outside your classroom walls. Let's look at how the structure of these teams look like in your classroom. In your Invention education classroom, students will work in groups of 4. That's my number. You may have a different number. But not random groups, intentional groups, built around complementary strengths. Think about how real R&D team works. You have people who dream up the vision, people who dig into the data, people who build and test, people who communicate and pitch. So every great innovation team has all 4. Role 1, the visionary. The student generates the big ideas and keeps the team focused on the why. They are the ones who ask, but what if we try this instead? Role 2, the researcher. This is a student that investigates a problem, validates ideas with evidence. They are the ones who say, wait, who else has tried to solve this? Role 3 is the builder. This student prototypes and tests. They learn by doing, and they are not afraid to break things in order to improve it. Role 4 is the connector. This student pitches the idea, keeps the team aligned, and bridges the gap between the invention and its audience. Use the day 1 strength survey that I will give you in a few to let students self-identify the role. When students choose the role, they own it, and team dynamics are far smoother. Every teacher I have ever trained has asked me some version of, but what do I do when the group falls apart? So even with great team design, groups may still hit a wall. So let's address the 4 most common situations right now. Problem 1, one student dominates. The fix is to assign a rotating facilitator role each session. The facilitator's job is to make sure everyone speaks before the group moves forward. One group rule with huge impact. Problem 2, the group cannot agree on an idea. The fix is dot voting. Each student gets 3 sticky dots, place them on your top ideas. The idea with the most dots moves forward. It teaches consensus building without the drama. I just put this to practice in my last summer camp with students between the ages of 6 through 9. If it works for them, it works for anybody. Problem 3, a student disengages. The fix is to go back to the strengths survey, reassign the role, or give them ownership of one specific deliverable. Accountability through ownership. Just recently, in a homeschool situation, I had a student who was disengaging. Well, guess what he was in charge of doing? He loved to design in his computer, so he created all the brochures for his team and designed the website. Problem 4, the group rushes straight to a solution. This is the most common one. The fix is to add a mandatory problem research phase check-in before any prototyping begins. They need to slow down to speed up. I promise you, if you put these 4 tools in your pocket, you will handle 90% of what comes up. Enough of theory. Let's talk about what you're going to do in your classroom whenever you get into the classroom. 2 free activities are included with this module, printed and ready to go. Activity 1 is the inventor's eye. This is for grades 6 through 12. Students observe everyday objects, identify problems they could solve, articulate the value of their solution, and sketch a first prototype. The framework is spot it, value it, and build it. It's very, very important that they not only spot the problems they see, but they also give it its value. The build it part right now, it's only a sketch. It's not going to be an actual build. Activity 2 is problem detectives. This is for grades 3 to 8. Students become problem detectives in their own school and community. They document problems they notice and brainstorm who their invention would help. It's exactly the same framework, spot it, value it, and build it, but it is at an age-appropriate level for students from 3rd grade to 8th. Both activities include a student worksheet and a teacher guide. I want to say something important here. You do not need to have everything figured out before you start. You just need to start. Give students the worksheet, let them observe, let them ask questions. You will be amazed what comes out. The goal of these first activities is not to produce a perfect invention idea. It is to shift students' mindset from consumers of the world to people who can change it. Teachers, do you need special materials? No. A pencil and the worksheet is just enough to start. The teacher guide and the student worksheet are in the packet in the folder right now. And what does success look like whenever you run these activities? Let me show you the outcome that you are building toward. When Invention education is implemented well, here is what you will see in your students. Critical thinking, students who question assumptions and design multiple solutions before settling on one. Teams where every role matters and students develop genuine shared ownership of the work. Students who begin to see themselves as inventors, not test takers, not passive learners, inventors. Students who can connect their work to careers, industries, and actual market needs. Students who have IP awareness, who understand that ideas have value and know how to protect them. And the one that matters most to me personally is equity in innovation. Underrepresented students gaining access to the inventor pipeline, often for the very first time. These are not soft outcomes. These are the skills every employer, every college, admissions officer, and every community needs. Where do you go from here? Well, you're at the discover stage, the starter kit. This is free. 3 lessons, worksheets, about 1.5 hours of content, and a digital badge when you complete it. But I want to see where this leads. Foundation certification is level 1. This is where you go deeper, invention, IP, and pitching. It is $297 for individual teachers. Level 2 is advanced certification, workforce connections, emerging technology, and advanced IP strategy. This is available as a $397 upgrade from level 1 or $597 as a standalone bundle. The fellowship is not a tier you purchase. It is an honor I extend by invitation to MFI graduates who have demonstrated exceptional commitment to this work. If you're ever invited into the fellowship, that means something. An MFI, Master Facilitator of Innovation and Invention Education, this is where you become the person who trains other teachers. There are 2 ways in. Pathway A is the learning track. That is you. If you have completed level 1 and level 2, after 1 year of implementation, you submit student work samples, we review your practice, and you earn the MFI credential for just $200. That's it. You have done the work. Pathway B is the experience track. For teachers who are coming in with existing experience but did not go through our certification program, they complete some foundational coursework, submit their deliverables and student work, and we verify their practice. That pathway is $297. Only a little more because we're not penalizing experience, we're honoring it. Here is what makes this pathway different from anything else out there. Most programs teach invent, then prototype. We teach invent, protect your idea through IP, launch through entrepreneurship, connect to real workforce development, and build national impact. That is fundamentally different commitment to your students. Your students are not just making science fair projects, they are entering the inventor pipeline. Thank you so much for being here today. I cannot wait to see what your students create. If you have any questions, please email me at y.ortiz, O-R-T-I-Z, at forwardinnovation.org, forwardinnovation.org. I would love to see you soon.